Hey guys, Mr. Burns here with your video for lesson 2-ET, vertical angles and adjacent angles. Complementary and supplementary angles are types of special angles. Another pair of special angles are vertical angles. Vertical angles are formed by two intersecting lines. They have a common vertex but are not adjacent. Think of it this way. If you drew yourself an X, like the letter X, then you've drawn yourself two sets of vertical angles. Two adjacent angles whose non-common sides are opposite rays are a linear pair. In other words, two adjacent angles share a common ray. They're right next to each other. Okay, so anyway, that's a linear pair. And a linear pair is also supplementary, whereas vertical angles are congruent. So let's talk about some angle relationships and some, characteristics. So let's talk about vertical angles first. Vertical angles, are congruent, they are not adjacent, and they are formed by intersecting lines. Adjacent angles are two angles that share a side. And a linear pair, those angles are adjacent and they are supplementary. So here we go. Each special angle pair has properties that are important to remember. So remember, the sum of complementary angles is 90, and the sum of supplementary angles, or linear pairs, is 180. And finally, vertical angles are congruent. Let's go ahead and dive right into the worksheet, and it'll make a little bit more sense to you as we get into it. Okay, so for numbers 1 through 3, in the box up here at the top, it tells you three things. The first thing it tells you is that adjacent angles share a side. The second thing it tells you is that vertical angles are equal. And the third thing it tells you is that linear pairs are supplementary, or that equal 180 degrees. So let's take a look at number 1. On number 1 it says, determine the measure of each angle using the diagram below. But before I proceed, let's take a look at a couple of these angles and how they're related to one another. So I'm going to tell you that angle 2 and angle 3, by definition, are vertical angles. Okay, knowing that now, angle number 4 and the angle that measures 100 degrees, those are also vertical angles. Okay, angle number 2 and angle number 4, write this down, angle number 4 are supplementary and they are adjacent. And that could be said the same thing about angle number 4 and 3, 3 and the one that says 100 and 102. All of those are supplementary and they are adjacent to each other. Okay, so let's dive right into this on part A. On part A it says, what is the measurement of angle number 2? Well, if we know this is 100 degrees and we know that 100 degrees plus angle number 2 is 180 degrees, to figure out what the measurement of angle 2 is, we'll take 180, subtract the angle measurement that we're given, which is 100, and that's 80 degrees. So the measurement of angle number 2 is going to be 80 degrees, and I'll put it in purple. Make that look like an 8, right? 80. All right, so that's 80 degrees. The measurement of angle number 3, what is that? Well, angle number 3 is vertical from angle number 2, and they are congruent, so angle number 3 and angle number 2 are the same. So if angle number 2 is 80 degrees, then the measurement of angle number 3 is also 80 degrees. Knowing what you know now, for the measurement of angle 4, angle number 4 is vertical from 100 degrees, so if the vertical angles are congruent, then angle number 4 is also 100 degrees. All right, let's go ahead and jump on to number 2. On number 2 it says, angle number 5 and angle number 9 are adjacent angles. Sketch and label a diagram to represent this situation. So the easiest thing to do in these types of problems is draw yourself an angle. Draw yourself an angle. Draw yourself the letter X. Okay, and there you go. Put the arrows at the end, and the arrows signify that those lines go on forever and ever and ever. And it says angle number 5 and angle number 9 are adjacent, which means they share a common ray. So if I said call this angle here 5, which one would be adjacent? it would be the one angle that shares a common ray, and we could sit there and say this would be angle number 9. So they're adjacent because they share this ray right here. Got it? Hope so. Let's take a look at number 3. On number 3 it says angle number 2 and angle number 6 are obtuse vertical angles. Sketch and label a diagram to represent this situation. So again, draw yourself an X. X marks the spot. Go ahead and draw yourself an X. Okay, and then put the arrows at the end, just like so. So it says they are obtuse and they are vertical. So which one of these angles look like they are obtuse? Does this angle look obtuse? No. Does this angle look obtuse? No. So that leaves the other two angles. So angle number 2 and angle number 6. Those are obtuse because they're larger than 90 degrees. And they look like they're larger than 90 degrees. So guess what? They're vertical and they're obtuse. So there you have it. Okay, number 4, number 5. Okay, so here we are on number 6. Actually, your instructions for number 6 and for 7 say, shade in the box that describes the relationship between the two identified angles, and then write an equation and solve for x. So on number 6, let's go ahead and indicate the common point, and then ask ourselves, do these two angles share a common ray? In this case, yes they do. They share this ray right here. So if they share a common point, and they have a common ray or a common side, this is an example of a linear pair. And linear pair angles always equal 180 degrees. So let's go ahead and set up and solve for x. We know that one angle is 10x plus the other angle, which is 60, and we know that they are a linear pair, so they equal 180 degrees. Let's go ahead and solve for x. So let's go ahead and circle the number and the variable attached to it. And now let's get rid of any addition or subtraction we need to. So instead of adding 60, we're going to subtract 60 from the left-hand side of the equation. And whatever I do to the left-hand side, I have to do to the right-hand side. So now I have a new equation of 10x equals 180 minus 60, which is 120. At this point, I'm going to do the opposite of multiplication, because that's the operation you perform whenever there's a number next to a variable. So the opposite of multiplication is division. So I'm going to divide both sides by the number that is attached to the variable, which is 10. So multiplying by 10, dividing by 10 cancel out, and I'm left with 110 divided by 10, which is 12. And that is my final answer. X equals 12. So let's jump over to number 7. On number 7, we've got this angle, so let's go ahead and mark the common point. Do they share a common ray or a common side? No, they do not. They are across from each other, or they are across from that common point. So that means they are vertical angles. And what do we know about vertical angles? We know that vertical angles are equal to each other. So let's go ahead and set up and solve this equation. On the left-hand side, we've got 2x plus 90. And we know that's equal to the other angle, whose expression is 4x plus 30. And let's go ahead and solve for the x variable. If at all possible, you want to keep your variables positive. So let's go ahead and take care of the x variable first. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and move the 2x over from the left-hand side to the right-hand side. So the way I can do that is I can subtract 2x from both sides. Okay, so positive 2x, negative 2x cancel each other out, which leaves me with 90 equals 4x minus 2x, which is 2x, plus 30. Now I'm going to go ahead and put my numbers together and circle my variable and the number attached. And now I'm going to get rid of any addition or subtraction, which puts my numbers together. So the opposite of adding 30 is subtracting 30. So I'm going to subtract 30 from both sides. Adding 30 and subtracting 30 cancel each other out, which leaves me with 2x equals 90 minus 30, which is 60. Then at this point, I'm going to go ahead and divide both sides by the number that is attached to the variable, which is 2. And I come up with, let's see, multiplying by 2 and dividing by 2 cancel each other out. And 60 divided by 2 is 30. So x equals 30. All right, let's jump on to number 8. All right, here we are on number 8. On number 8, it says use the diagram below. For part A, it says circle name that best describes the relationship between angle TFH and VFH. So are they vertical, are they linear, or are they adjacent? Let's go ahead and mark the common point and mark the common ray. So do they share a common point? Yes, that's F. Do they share a common ray? Yes, the common ray is FH. So if they have a common point and they have a common ray, they are adjacent. It asks you next for part B, it says what is the sum of angle TFH and angle VFH? It tells you right here. It's 120 degrees. Okay. Get rid of all that. You'll see why here in a moment. For part C, it says write an equation. So let's go ahead and do that. So we've got x plus the other angle, which is 2x, plus 24, and that's equal to 120. Next thing it says solve for x. So on the left-hand side of our equation, let's go ahead and collect up all of our like terms. So x plus 2x is 3x, plus 24 equals 120. Let's go ahead and circle our number and the variable attached. And let's get rid of any addition or subtraction we need to. In this case, we're going to get rid of the addition, which is, and the opposite of that is subtraction. So we're going to subtract 24 from both sides. So you end up with 3x equals 120 minus 24, which is 96. And then at this point, we're going to go ahead and divide both sides by the number that's attached to the variable, which is 3. And you come up with x equals 32. So that's the answer for part D. X equals 32. Now, for part E, it says, how many degrees is angle T, F, and H? Well, it tells you right here that it's x degrees. So we just solve for x. So what does angle TFH equal? So the measurement of angle TFH is equal to x, which is also the same as 32 degrees. And that says for part F, it says how many degrees is angle VFH. So I'll put that in purple. So V, F, and H. Its expression is, I'll put it back in blue, 2x plus 24. Let's go ahead and plug in the value for x that we solved for. So we've got 2 times 32 plus 24. And let's see. 2 times 32 is 64 plus 24. And 64 plus 24 is 88. And that is the degree measurement of angle VFH. All right, that's it. Let's go ahead and get out a piece of paper, a pencil, and a calculator. Let's get ready to write down our assignment. Well done, you guys. Good job.